The lighting is heavily determined by where you are in the mall. Some places are dark, some are bright and fluorescent. My favorite location is the lounge/bar. My least favorite are the rides. God, I hate those rides. It is a mix of my childhood malls, nonsensical amusement park rides, dirty/empty stores, an abandoned grocery store, and a dollar store that you know someone is trying to find you in. The ways to explore are walking, going on amusement park rides, and going down holes/tunnels/slides on ground or walls. Every bathroom is absolutely filthy, no exemption. The theater is incredibly low-lit, red, and has a lot of people making a ton of noise. It's like the guests have never been taught theater etiquette. They throw food, pick fights with you, walk around during the movie, etc. The only saving grace is the bar/lounge. It has the best food. It seems to be the dream version of a way swankier Cheesecake Factory. Red leather, speakeasy vibes. Part of it is a dance floor and club.
My partner says I start fighting him when I have the running TheMallWorld dreams. The times I'm running in the hospital or through the woods on the dirt trails, I guess my body gets violent in real life. My boyfriend says that I start headbutting and thrashing or going into a tiny ball, and he can't unravel me from the ball. I will also start talking and saying mumbles that sound somewhat angry or like I'm fighting someone. Usually when I wake up, I'll tell him all about the dream and the details. What's funny is sometimes I wasn't actually fighting physically in TheMallWorld, but just arguing or running instead of throwing headbutts.
So I have been in a huge high-ceilings white lobby, and there's a long line of people waiting to go on the best I can explain it as a single-person tube transportation that's on almost like train tracks, and it takes off at lightning speeds. Anyways, I don't even know why I did this, but I cut in line and basically passed everyone all the way to the front of L&E. And this young guy who I jumped in front of was mad as hell and started to get others upset too, saying I cut the line. But for whatever reason, I can't remember why, but I couldn't wait on this line. And when I got in the tube thing, I woke up. Has anyone experienced this? Where did the transport thing take you to?
Other town. Another version of a familiar town or city. This can be your hometown or a town you've been to. Differences from the one in the waking world can range from very small differences to what should be unrecognizable. No matter how different it is, you know what town/city this is. It must be one you've been to. Personal experiences. Hometown made having shipping containers. A street with stores that don't exist in the waking world. I particularly remember a storefront that when you enter, there's a mall, despite the building being too small to have one. Restaurant that does exist in waking world looking different and also being in a different area. Food stands that don't exist. Crosstracks. The term crosstracks refers to other side of the tracks, in this case the other side being the dream world. A crosstracks is a dream version of a neighborhood familiar to you, just like other town. Differences can range from small differences to what should be unrecognizable. Regardless of the difference, you will know what the neighborhood in question is. One could consider a crosstracks to be part of an other town, but they can also be completely unconnected. It must be one you've been to. Personal experiences. A concession stand outside the entrance to the community pool. Cases of a store being in the neighborhood. The neighborhood having collapsed homes. A weird airship thing. A cliff where the rest of the neighborhood should be. A big circular indoor neighborhood with many floors with various stores and shops.
Anyone been to any of these infinite houses? Infinite brothel. It seems to exist in the same realm as other infinite houses that I've been to in dreams. Although it is slightly less haunted, it still takes on an ethereal quality, and you are able to walk through room after room before actually getting where you are going. There are endless girls that live inside the house, and you can choose any number of them to have any kind of sexual experience you want, even having orgies and very perverted things happening. No one ever judges you because this entire house was created for your pleasure. Not only that, but the hyper-modern futuristic yet Victorian architecture makes it one of the most beautiful places you ever seen in a dream. You would truly want to stay here forever, but it seems you are only allowed to come when you've been gifted a session by the dream entities. And when you are gifted a session, you are guaranteed to receive it, unlike other dream locations. Infinite Horror Challenge Castle. This one is the most ethereal and hardest to describe from memory. It feels like you're on acid when you're in here, it's so far removed from normal reality. It's heavily populated with other dreamers, but everyone is equally confused as to how they got there or what exactly is the purpose of it. There are many rooms, but you seem to unlock them as you G further and further. But sometimes things will shift and you won't be where you thought you were. Has the effect where once the doors of the room close you are no longer able to return back, you are no longer subject to normal dream rules, and you are no longer allowed to awaken except by hard awakening. The rooms will shift and change often when you aren't looking, you're guaranteed to get lost or even trapped. It is not known whether anyone has completed the challenge. Extreme Horror Scare Hotel. This one has no main entrance or corridor. You seem to just no-clip into one of the rooms and you are instantly terrified, but you have no idea why. You're always the only human here, but you feel surrounded by entities you can't see that feel so demonic and terrifying and otherworldly that it makes every hair on your neck stand up. The rooms are liminal, looking like scenes from a Stephen King movie. The floors are crooked and slanted. You feel the overwhelming sense that something is not right, and you shouldn't be here. You might also see clothing, especially winter coats. You should never under any circumstances put on any of the clothing. House of Healers. This is a house populated by psychic dreamers. Psychonauts, lucid dreamers, etc. Basically a hub to interface and share knowledge. You'll encounter light workers, star seeds, spiritual masters, explorers, and all sorts of interesting characters. You'll feel like you're sitting at a table with the most interesting and highest vibrational people you've ever encountered. Some of them may not exist in earthly realms because they have transcended. Others are earthly beings like yourself that have been invited. This one is again invite only, similar to the infinite brothel.
Okay, so I wanted to share my latest experience with TheMallWorld last night. I have been having these dreams since I was a kid. I'm 47F. And recently found out other people have had the same dreams and places that we are now calling TheMallWorld. I also want to make note that on occasion I can lucid dream too. Last night I was dreaming and realized I was dreaming and became lucid. I even thought to myself, wow, this is really detailed and not as gross or as frustrating as some of the other TheMallWorld dreams. When I figure out I can lucid dream, the first thing I do is fly. After flying around for a bit, I ended up standing in a line for this weird antique store that was outside, not even sure what they were selling that I was supposed to buy. I look at a girl in line near me, and she caught my eye. I saw a bright yellow beret in her hair, and in the dream thought, didn't we say in a TikTok video if we wanted to try to recognize someone else to wear yellow? I was nervous to talk to her because I heard you are not supposed to admit you know you are dreaming or mention TheMallWorld in the dream state. I took a chance and walked over to her and said, "Have you ever heard of TheMallWorld?" She said yes, and we began talking. She mentioned my yellow shirt, and I pointed to her yellow beret. Isn't this wild? I asked her. Then I asked if she can also lucid dream and fly. And she said, oh yeah. We flew to the top of a short tree briefly. I said, okay, so how do we try to find each other in the real world? She told me that she uses the name Griffin Rider, could be spelled different as she told this to me, and it wasn't written down. I told her I typically use River Witch as well as my actual name. Next, we were on the ground near the large water fountain sculpture, and there were a large group of girls suddenly around her, and I was like, oh, these must be her friends, and was about to leave. They are starting to walk down the path to lead her with them, and she stops, grabs my arm, and says, don't leave me. I started to say I wouldn't, but then I felt something on my back and told her, I'm so sorry, but my dog is kicking my back and it's waking me up and I am starting to lose connection. Sure enough, my dog, who sleeps in our bed, was having her own dream and kicking her paws into my back when I woke up. So this is a long shot and super crazy, but if anyone else had a similar experience, let me know. It was surreal, and I think I will literally freak out if I find this person I met in TheMallWorld. Just had to share my spooky experience.
I think I was kicked out of TheMallWorld. I started my dreams about TheMallWorld a few years ago, and I'd go there almost every night. The dreams were more frequent within the last few years. However, I was having these dreams with no knowledge of MallWorld. I thought they were just dreams about a fancy mall with a bunch of quirks. I learned it was a thing for other people last week, and now I don't have dreams about it. Probably because my subconscious won't let me, but still. Has this happened to anyone else? If it actually is a liminal space.
I discovered the elevators are responsive to voice, and don't go insane if you tell it to just do its job. Despite my username, I had my first real proper lucid dream last night. I was about to get in the elevator when I just knew they'd do what they usually do and go haywire. I had this overwhelming feeling of, this elevator is going to go crazy and scare me like it usually does in my dreams. It was then I became lucid and aware, and I was so excited. So I tested it by flying. Sure enough, I was flying. I flew over my whole dream world, in and out of apartment building windows that I'd seen / dreamt about many times, and felt so free. To fly, I have to engage my core and almost fall onto the ground. When I do this, suddenly I can feel what I can only describe as magnetism, as if I am an opposing force and gravity is working against me so I can glide around. Anyway, I then tested the elevator by seeing if it would still go crazy when I got in. I remember pressing level 20, and sure enough it randomly starting switching floors, going sideways, dropping quickly to the ground, giving me that horrible dreadful feeling. Then I said, "Elevator, stop. Just floor 20-inch." And the elevator behaved normally, taking me to level 20. I got out and repeated the test. Press a button, say nothing, the elevator goes insane. Use my voice to control it, and it behaves. It feels like a breakthrough for me.
Recurring dreams about living in large mall, convention center, hotel, campus, etc. Stumbled upon this page, whoa. I have the exact same type of dreams. Seemingly endlessly recurring dreams about living in a large mall, convention center, hotel, college campus, dorm/co-living style situation. Sometimes also in some variation of a large shared house. Some settings seem like a temporary holding containers that I move between, e.g., some malls are also airports and I am preparing to leave, in others, I am just arriving or getting acquainted. Others seem like slight recombinations of real settings I know in waking life. Some settings seem so consistent that it feels outright like another parallel reality. Anyone have a theory of what's going on with these dreams? I have a budding theory. Upvotes.
The bathroom stall space vomiting. This has probably already been talked about, but has anyone ever noticed the bathrooms? There's so many stalls, but they're all either closed or clogged with diarrhea or gross stuff. Why is that? And why does everyone see the same thing in their dreams?
My MallWorld experience. I had this dream a few weeks before I knew anything about MallWorld. And honestly, I'm freaked TF out. So my dream started in what I think might have been one of the entrances to the mall. This entrance lead into like a movie theater/auditorium with people coming in and out of YK like a normal building. Right, so I head inside and go into one of the rooms where there was a big white screen that was also some sort of stage. Inside this room, every single seat was taken except for one, so I decided to take that one seat. Somehow the people around me felt familiar or like I knew them from somewhere. When the movie or show started, everyone turned around and started staring at me. In that moment I got freaked out and left running, and somehow I ran deeper into the mall and I ran into a big open area that had 4 or 5 floors of what I think were stores and food shops, where the only way to get up to these floors was via these electrical escalators, and these escalators would have certain points where they would connect and you could get on another one that would somehow take you to the floors you wanted. During this time I was walking around gawking at the things these stores had. I can't explain what they were, I just knew it was something I've never seen before and it had me mesmerized. But when I tried going into one of these stores/shops, someone wouldn't let me in, so I sneaked into one of I think it was a toy store, but it was more like gadgets, like things or tools you would need, but these items were futuristic or very advanced. I took a small green brightly glowing glass, or at least I think was glass, marble, and that's when I think the security eye of the store's clerk started running after me because it saw that I stole that marble, so I run to the escalators one again, but this time it took me to a roof area where there was nobody. Keep in mind, during all this time there was people walking around by themselves, much like I was, or some were together in small groups, no more than 4 people. And it felt like the outside. I look over the edge and it's the theater/auditorium entrance into where I came. The sky was black with stars and a big massive shining moon. And as I'm looking around I see that the store clerk was in a similar roof area, and that he was just staring me, not yelling or pointing, just staring. It freaked me out. And I saw that my area of the roof had a bridge that connected to a massive McDonald's type early 2000s looking place. But it was cleaner and somehow looked kinda futuristic, or just looked unused despite the amount of people going in and out of the thing. So I ran to this bridge and head inside. It was packed with people going in and out of this place, and everyone is chasing fire like balls of light. That's when I get the utterly extreme feeling that I needed to get one. The feeling I got was extreme sense of desperation, and that it was important to get one at all costs. So I started chasing and catching and somehow holding them with my arm. But then I saw it, a slightly bigger orb of fire like light that changed colors from dark green to a not so bright green color. As soon as I saw that orb, that feeling of extreme desperation returned, somehow multiplied to the point where I vividly remember tears flowing from my eyes like a river in the dream. And I wasn't necessarily holding them. It was like once you catch them they would like float really close to you, not making contact with you but close enough that it looked like that. Let go of the orbs I already had and they floated away, and as soon as I did I fully sprinted to that one ever-changing green fire-like orb. The feeling of contempt and was just amazing. As I crossed to the other side of the bridge I started to notice that I was dreaming, and you know that feeling when you are slowly waking up in a dream. During this realization I had, it was like the people or things that looked like people started noticing that I was waking up, because they would start to follow me and start talking to me, but I couldn't hear them. I woke up because someone in my dream grabbed my right shoulder and gave it a squeeze. When I awoke I had tears in my eyes and jumped like when you're falling asleep and suddenly feel like you're about to fall off a building. That jolt of awareness. I tried to add or include every detail and feeling I could remember. I am not role-playing or making this up. This is genuinely what I've dreamt about, what I think is MallWorld. It's utterly terrifying that so many other people is dreaming things similar to me.
MallWorld is a higher dimensional projection of humanity's collective unconsciousness and can be imagined as a tesseract network.
Fellow MallWorlders, have you recently been attacked or hunted? In the past week, a very normal MallWorld experience has become often a random cat and mouse 70s horror slasher. A weird guy with a cat pops up and makes allegations of past transgressions that he swears I made, but I didn't. Girlfriends I had in high school are teaming up to seek decades-old revenge. AI gone haywire, turning the escalators into meat grinders. I am not, I swear it, being facetious. I get if I was watching spooky movies around Halloween. These ideas would of course seep into the subconscious. The thing is, I've been too busy this October to even watch many horror flicks, like 3. I'd usually be up to 20, like 1 a day. And I don't have scary MallWorlds, ever. So it isn't my spooky movie intake. Could it be, with all the spooky media being consumed all around, it's the general fear of horror movies and shows releases it into the MallWorld somehow? Interested to know what you think.
I finally was able to call someone from a cell phone in MallWorld. They were looking for me, and I just remembered being panicked and crying, and walking was really exhausting. I told her if she didn't find me I would never be able to leave. She stayed and waited for me, and then we were able to meet up with other people I knew. We were in the bottom floor of the mall, near a second mini food court, downstairs from the theater. Has anyone else had experiences calling friends that are alive?
Water everywhere. I found this Reddit from TikTok, have many shared experiences with you all. I wanted to share some of my memorable water ones. Some I haven't been to in years. Some I'm now able to leave. A public swimming pool in a mall that was a vertical cylinder. Literally a glass vertical tube. I got in at the top, but there were hundreds of feet below me. I swam down a few levels and could see people in the mall looking at me. The water felt very dense. I quickly got to the top. Went there in about 2015 and can remember it so vividly. Very bad vibes, and I was able to nope myself out of there. Haven't been there since, but the access to this pool was very similar to the changing rooms described here. There was so much space to change, but also, I felt there was no space. The floor was wet, the toilets were dirty and the lockers weren't working. The air was oppressive. No one else was at all bothered by this and acted like it was normal. Watching a river from a bridge with loads of arches. An unfathomably wide river, in the middle of a city. It's got weeds all going with the very fast current and hundreds of hammerhead sharks. I feel like I either escaped the river or I'm about to jump in. I've been here several times, the last time was about 2 years ago. My feeling here is fascination. Walking in the country on a hike and see puddles that have fish in them. They are too big for the puddles. There's no ponds or rivers in sight that they may have come from. I'm really stressed about how to rescue them. I've been here several times, but it stopped about 5 years ago. Bought a house and discovered a whole lower layer I didn't know about. Was elated, then I realized it was all water/pools/baths, etc. The first layer was a foot bath like you used to get in swimming pools before you went to the main pool. Then there was a random deep bath, then another shallow foot bath, then a normal bath, then like a Roman bath area, on and on it goes. The air is thick to breathe, cheap neon lighting and a pale green feeling. I'd bought this house, and I couldn't believe I had all this space, but there were random people in there, it wasn't clean, and I was mega stressed. I've been here 3 times. Asterisk dirty toilets we all talk about. I've been 10 plus times. I'm not a hyper clean person, I'm very normal, and these toilets are gag worthy. Full to the brim, spilling on the floor. No one else is bothered at all. I'm disgusted and am always on the way to somewhere, but I need to use the toilet first. That's another post about me needing to be somewhere, but can't get there, or if I do my hair/makeup/dress is fucked.
MallWorld theories. Since other people are theorizing, here's what my brother and I came up with the other day, while eating chicken and waffles in downtown New Orleans. So what's the MallWorld? Remembered spaces. The MallWorld and other places like the water park, train station, etc. is simply a reflection of places we've visited. We generate it from memories. The feeling of commonality is an illusion. Communication is an illusion. It's a typical social anxiety dream, similar to the falling down the steps dream and the naked in the classroom dream. Idealized spaces. The MallWorld is a shared construct, perhaps part of a universal consciousness, or a platonic ideal of a mall, or an alternate dimension reflecting the world, like the upside down. How substantial is it? How does time function here? Can we communicate in the MallWorld? Astral project? Why not? Imposed spaces. The MallWorld is a generated space where we are sent during our dreams. It could be a gaming or educational platform, or a punishment routine. This theory requires a controlling domain. Are we in a sim? Are we interdimensional super soldiers? Are we communicating with aliens? Although the least likely, I really like the last theory. Aliens are trying to communicate through our dreams. No joke. A lot of my MallWorld dreams have architecture, products, and styles that are 20 years in the past at least, implying that there may be a time delay in the signals sent back and forth. That's all I got. Oh, except I highly suggest Daisy May's Southern Fried Chicken and breakfast.
Busting through a closet, then accessing the roof wooden cement realm feeling. I tend to hide inside closets a lot because normally I'm fighting a war and have people chasing after me, so I somehow end up inside the roof and have to work through so much of what feels like an attic. Once I bust out, I land into a cement-like room, and then it feels like an auto shop or warehouse's steel doors. If I manage to get into a warehouse, it then leads to what feels like a trap house, where they are looking for candidates to sell for drugs or other messed up stuff. There's multiple rooms I can go into them, and the rooms are always unkempt. Lights are either on or off, and I can never change the lighting aspect.
MallWorld Meetup on October 30th, 2025. For everyone who is interested, you are invited to try a first ever meetup in MallWorld. How to get to MallWorld. When you go to sleep on October 30th, think about the movie theater in MallWorld. Concentrate on it. See it in your mind. Imagine being there. Daydream going there and meeting up with us. Imagine what you will do. If you fall asleep with that intentionality ongoing in your head, there is a dramatic increase as to your chances of experiencing it. This is true of most dreams. If you fall asleep while fully concentrating on your intentions, place, experience, you can signal your subconscious, which is the best way to purposely dream about something. The second way is if you can lucid dream, try to switch in the dream to the location you choose. This can be done easier if you imagine a door, on which the place you want to go exists on the other side. Remembering and verifying your dreams. Each night, try to think about the theater in MallWorld before you fall asleep. Daydream it, imagine it, see yourself there. Keep a pencil and paper next to your bed. When you wake up, write down everything you remember, even if it's, I can't recall anything. If you make a habit of trying to recall and write things down the moment you wake up, you will build up your ability to remember your dreams. I've gotten people who thought they didn't dream at all to learn how to remember and enjoy their dreams. Choosing your dreams. To control where you dream or what you dream about is similar. Concentrate on where you want to be, what you want to do, who is there, what you are holding, etc. If you practice this as well every night, you will get better at choosing where you start your dreams. It is not lucid dreaming, but more of dreaming with intention. You can track all this in your dream journal, too. Night 1. Tried to reach the MallWorld Theatre, thought of the snack counter. Woke up, journaled that I dreamt of a forest. In dream verification, we are going to try to choose the movie. Potentially it will be Shrek, but be prepared if something else is shown. We may not be able to force that change. If you can, shoot for the time UTC 5 o'clock. If not, go whenever you can. Time may not be a factor there, and there may be enough of us going that there will be plenty of overlap. So you may meet one of us. So that we know we are meeting someone from this reality, we will have a challenge and response phrase. When you see someone, ask them, "What is a dream?" They should reply, "A dream is a wish your heart makes." If someone asks you, then you should give the proper reply, so they know you are from this reality. Side quest. As a bonus, we will have a secondary objective for any who are interested, just to see if it is possible. Some people have a limited ability to affect reality in MallWorld. We will try to create a door to the right of the movie screen. This will have an exit sign over it, but it should be lit up in green. MallWorld seems to act as a gateway between dimensions, connecting all of the dimensions through it. This door will lead to a dimension I have catalogued before, where super-powered heroes are real. When you enter this dimension, you will receive some powers, usually ones you have imagined the most. They usually work only in this dimension, although sometimes they can carry over to other dimensions. Enjoy. Smiling face with smiling eyes. Feel free to post here how that works for you and what happened. Looking forward to meeting you all.
A person in MallWorld explained why we can't contact each other. Is there a way around it? First, not every dream is in MallWorld. Even mall dreams don't mean you are in MallWorld. I'm semi-lucid in MallWorld. I know it's a dream, but I can't change stuff and I still have fear there. I was in the wooded area of MallWorld, with a group of people taking the fight to the aliens. It was rainy, muddy, low visibility. We all had military gear and tents. I was with a group of around 5 to 7 people, but there were other groups scattered about. While we were in a tent, one person said, "Guy, wow, these battles are getting bigger and bigger every time." Me, "How do you know about these battles?" I was surprised that a dream character knew about it. Guy, "I get called up here all the time. The aliens are gaining a lot of ground." Me, "Wait, so you know you are also dreaming?" Guy, "Yes." Me, "How come if everyone here is dreaming, we can't see each other in waking life?" Guy, asterisk points at someone, "That is an old woman from China. This guy over here is a recent born baby from Slovakia. I'm from somewhere else," and so on. Even if you recall this dream, the others might not. And how would you contact an old lady that does not speak your language? Me, "So what should we do?" Guy, "Fight with everything you have when you see the aliens. Could there be a way to contact each other? Or to do something bizarre in MallWorld, so we know we are in the same server?"
Do you always dream about MallWorld bus stations? I haven't seen many reports here about them. It seems to me that bus stations aren't common places in other countries. Here in Brazil, it's something quite peculiar and has a unique atmosphere.
I'd like to hear everyone's experiences with escalators. Last night I tried going up an escalator, but a woman, the only person around, came up to me and told me not to go up it. I did anyways, and it was like trying to walk up a larger version of a bike chain or chainsaw chain. And it was hard to move. I eventually got off and crawled up a random water slide in the mall. I remember when I was younger, 15 years ago, getting on an escalator in my mall dream. And it made me realize I was dreaming because of how weird it was, and I just started flying and flew out of MallWorld. These are the only 2 encounters with escalators that I actually remember.
This is not my